NEAT curriculum is developed from evidence-based nutrition and physical activity guidelines, including the Dietary Guidelines for Americans and the Physical Activity Guidelines for Americans. The dietary guidelines have 4 key takeaways. First, follow a healthy dietary pattern at every life stage: infancy, toddlerhood, childhood, adolescence, adulthood, pregnancy, lactation, and older adulthood. It's never too early or too late to start eating healthfully. Second, customize and enjoy nutrient-dense food and beverage choices to reflect personal preferences, cultural traditions, and budgetary considerations. A healthy dietary pattern can benefit all individuals regardless of age, race, or ethnicity, or current health status. The dietary guidelines provide a framework intended to be customized to individual needs and preferences, as well as the foodways of the diverse cultures in the United States. Third, focus on meeting food group needs with nutrient-dense food and beverages, and stay within calorie limits. An underlying premise of the dietary guidelines is that nutritional needs should be met primarily from foods and beverages, specifically nutrient-dense foods and beverages. Nutrient-dense foods provides vitamins, minerals, and other health-promoting components and have no or little added sugars, saturated fats, and sodium. A healthy dietary pattern consists of nutrient-dense foods across all food groups in recommended amounts and within calorie limits. The core elements that make up a healthy dietary pattern include vegetables, fruits, grains, dairy, protein foods, and oils. And finally, limit foods and beverages higher in added sugars, saturated fat, and sodium, and limit alcoholic beverages. The Dietary Guidelines for Americans provide specific limits for these components: less than 10% of total calories starting at age 2 for added sugar and saturated fat, less than 2,300 milligrams per day of sodium, and if adults of legal drinking age choose to drink, no more than 1 standard drink for women and 2 standard drinks for men. Drinking less is better for your health than drinking more. The dietary guidelines were designed for policymakers and nutrition and health professionals. The key points from the guidelines were translated into a form for the general public, and that became MyPlate. A large portion of the NEAT curriculum is based on MyPlate. MyPlate is designed to help consumers make better food choices using a familiar mealtime visual, a place setting. As with the dietary guidelines, the MyPlate plan accommodates all kinds of eating patterns and can be customized to reflect a variety of cultural foodways. While MyPlate serves as a template for balance, variety, and moderation, there is no singular or prescribed MyPlate way to eat. Resources are available on myplate.gov to learn how to create a plan that is completely customized to each individual. On the MyPlate graphic, there are 5 main food groups: vegetables, fruits, grains, protein, and dairy, and each food group has a related key message. Vary your veggies, focus on whole fruits, make half of your grains whole grains, vary your protein routine, and move to low-fat or fat-free dairy milk or yogurt, or lactose-free dairy or fortified soy versions. The Physical Activity Guidelines for Americans is an essential resource for health professionals and policymakers. It includes recommendations for Americans ages 3 years and older, including people at increased risk of chronic disease, and provides evidence-based advice on how physical activity can help promote health and reduce the risk of chronic diseases. Being physically active is one of the most important actions that people of all ages can take to improve their health. The evidence renewed for the second edition of the Physical Activity Guidelines for Americans is clear. Physical activity fosters normal growth and development and can make people feel better, function better, sleep better, and reduce the risk of a large number of chronic diseases. Health benefits start immediately after exercising, and even short episodes of physical activity are beneficial. Here are a few of the key guidelines. For children and adolescents, it's important to provide young people opportunities and encouragement to participate in physical activities that are appropriate for their age, that are enjoyable, and that offer variety. Children and adolescents aged 6 through 17 should do 60 minutes or more of moderate to vigorous physical activity daily. Most of the 60 minutes should be aerobic physical activity, and children and adolescents should also engage in muscle strengthening and bone strengthening activities at least 3 days a week. Adults should sit less and move more. It's recommended for adults to get between 150 to 300 minutes of moderate intensity aerobic physical activity a week, or 75 to 150 minutes of vigorous intensity physical activity a week. It's recommended to spread aerobic activity throughout the week and to add muscle strengthening activities on 2 or more days a week. An important value of the NEAT program is to frame all discussions about healthy behaviors in a positive manner. To us, that means that we take a strengths-based approach. We focus on the benefits different foods provide our bodies by using statements like, carbohydrate foods give our bodies energy to play. Dairy foods have vitamins and minerals that help our bodies stay strong and healthy. NEAT promotes the idea that all foods fit. We don't want to overemphasize foods to limit or avoid. We never want a student to feel shamed about eating a certain food because we spent a whole NEAT lesson talking about why to avoid it. Instead, we help students identify nutritious foods and focus on promoting those foods. We don't call foods bad, junk, or unhealthy. We don't say that any food is off limits or should never be eaten. Similarly, we don't want to call foods treats or rewards or overemphasize them. We don't want to place an oversized importance on the goodness or badness of foods. Instead, we talk about foods as morally neutral and frame discussions around what the food provides to our bodies. We don't discuss calorie recommendations to students. While there is a place for that kind of discussion in nutrition education and medical nutrition therapy, it is out of the scope of the NEAT program. We talk about calories as what they are, energy for our bodies, but we don't talk about limiting intake to a certain number of calories. Finally, NEAT program activities are designed to be accessible to all students regardless of their home food environment, access to physical activity, physical ability, or cultural food traditions. The NEAT program frames health in a way that is accessible to all and highlights a variety of healthy behaviors to allow any student to see themselves positively represented in the NEAT curriculum.